ED,
Yo,
it's combine time, man. You got any
mm,
great indie stories? Any
uh,
Indianapolis stories?
it's so different now. It's so different. But they did make us wear the John Stocktons back then.
John Stockton's. This is
You
the
youngsters don't
Believe in
even know.
49ers podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. He is Super Bowl champion Eric Davis. I'm Rahshaun Haylock. Plenty to get to on this show. It's combine time. John Lynch is there. Kyle Shanahan, not so much. We'll get into that a little bit. More quarterback talk. It wouldn't be a Niners offseason if we weren't talking about quarterbacks. There's a couple of big names out there. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, perhaps. Why or why not? Won't they be in the colors next season? As always, we want to continue to encourage you to download, subscribe, rate, and review. We're located wherever you find your podcast. If there's a like or follow button on your particular podcast subscription service, go ahead and hit that like or follow button. Hit us up on social media. I'm at Haylock on Twitter. He is at _ Eric Davis _ and on Instagram I'm at Watch Ray Ray. He is at Eric Davis _ That's 4 underscores. As always, we're brought to you by the fine folks at Bet Online. It's March Madness right around the corner. Everybody's favorite time of the year. You get the music playing. You give me Luther in his one shining moment. I'm a happy camper, ED. I tell you that much. And look, Bet Online has you covered for all the latest odds, totals, player performance props to where the next fire coach is going to land. Bet Online, the #1 spot for all your sports betting needs. Head over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE to get started. Bet Online, the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports and to play your favorite games. Bet Online, where the game starts. He is Super Bowl champion Eric Davis. I'm Rahshaun Haylock. So, ED, we've heard from John Lynch so far this week at the Combine. He's talked Trey up. My favorite line of the week. Some video got out. I don't know how that video got out there, but it's there. Yeah, sure, John. So you got him waxing poetic on Trey. Him talking about Jimmy. He mentioned, he never wants to say that any surgery is minor, but he says this was a type of procedure where, they thought it would heal with rehab. Instead, they have to go in there and take care of it. We're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo's throwing shoulder here. That's going to keep him sidelined for 16 weeks. He's at the Combine. Some other 49ers personnel at the Combine. Kyle Shanahan not at the Combine. And I know there's this thought about, Kyle really doing a lot of the grocery shopping, right?
Yeah.
But he's not there. How different? I mean, you see head coaches there. We've heard from Mike McDaniel, the former 49ers OC. We've heard from McCarthy. There Bruce Arians this week as well. No Kyle. How do you think this whole thing is going to play out in terms of, like, can we be looking at a change in philosophy here?
Yeah, that's what I'm interested to see, if there is a change of philosophy, because I could be wrong, and if I am, I'm sure our listeners will let me know. They normally do. But I think Kyle and the coaching staff has always gone to the combine, to, you're going to be at the pro days and all of these other things. I think they've always been there, and if that. This is the thing. Coaching is not just about talent. Of course, that's a part of it, but it's also about just the mindset and how you believe that player will fall into the room, into the system, into the group. Okay? How is that personality going to mesh with the rest of the group to make that unit better? That's a part of it as well. When I was with the Niners, as I got older, I didn't realize they were doing it to me when I was a rookie, but I came in and it was like, hang with these guys. And, and it was a few times out of Jacksonville State, after I had my first talk with Ray Rose, and the questions he was asking me and the things he was doing and how he was talking to me, he was filling me out. And then it was like, we're going to fly you out here, and you come out and, and it's like, It had nothing to do with football. It's like I'm going out with Ronnie and E. Wright and Chet Brooks and all of these things, and I'm just like hanging out with them. You're kind of seeing how this stuff happens. And later on, I remember doing it with guys like Dana Hall, where you're coming in, they're looking at these guys like, okay. And it was at that point, I'm old enough now, and Ray Rhodes is just like, he was like, see if he's decaffeinated. You know, they want to know. And you know, and I've told you about that, but that's all. You know, you won't know if you look like coffee, smell like coffee, but he may be caffeine free. You'll know. We knew if this dude could give us what we needed. So that's the thing. And they wanted your honest opinion on it. So that's what I'm saying about this. It would be a shift in philosophy if they're going to start, and some teams do this. I know coaches. I have friends that coach, and there are organizations where the scouting department is going to evaluate the players that are coming out, and they're going to set the board. Like this is how we rank these players. This is how we rank them. This is what we're looking at in order of importance, but these are how we rank the players. And that carries a lot of weight on the draft board and on draft day. There are other teams where it's, you know, yes, you combine that still, but because these guys, we evaluated these players, we've seen it from day one, these are the best players. And there are teams that take that into consideration, and there is more importance put on that scouting department's evaluation. But again, like I just said, the guy that I'm going to be coaching, the guy that it's not just about, you see this guy is talented. Does this guy have what I want him to have? I can see that he can run, and I can see that he's fast, and I see that he's strong. But does this guy have the mindset of this group? Because if he doesn't, it's going to be hard, because I'm not going to get rid of that other 6 or 7 guys in the room. But this guy right here, and man, they bring him in, he may want to jump off the roof, because they're going to run him crazy. And you know it. You know it if you sit down and you talk to certain guys. And sometimes you'll overlook that because like the talent is just so ridiculous that you like, you know what? Everybody else will leave him alone because you just see. They'll see what we see. But you have to take that in consideration. So I know I've been a little long-winded on this one, but the Niners have something going on that's pretty good. I think they have a very good core of young players. I think they've done a very good job of building this roster. It was a bad roster when Kyle took over. That's why he got the job. It was a bad roster. I think this is a very good roster. This is a playoff roster. This is a championship contending roster. Yes, you continue to add pieces to it. I'm interested in seeing if this is just because of the things that were happening and the protocol and all of this, do they believe it's not necessary for the coaches to get involved in just this part of it, or if this is going to be the norm from now on? Because like I said, I've seen position coaches. I know guys. Tim McDonald was one when he was up in Buffalo. That was their way of doing it at that time. I'm not sure if McDermott is doing it that way right now, but that was a part of what Rex Ryan did. Like the scouts, you guys do that part of it, and we coach who you bring in. You do the evaluating, and we don't really get into the evaluating of the players or really get in, we want this guy. And I know for a fact that, you know, those coaches were like, I like this guy more. I really want this guy. It's no knock against this kid, but I know that this player can do what I want him to do within this scheme better. And that becomes a conflict, because think about it, just human beings. You get into, because now I'm going to be evaluated based on the performance of the guy you wanted.
Yeah.
So it's going to be in your head no matter what. If I had only had the chance to work with player B instead of player A.
Or I should at least have a say so, right? Or
yes.
yeah.
So that's what I'm wondering. How is it going to play out?
I've heard you tell the Ray Rhodes story before, and I never really thought about it in this sense until right now. It has a very college recruitment feel to it, right? Like I know, some high school guys when they're getting recruited, normally the head coach comes in at the last minute to kind of seal the deal, but it's the recruiting coordinator that goes out. It's he may bring along the position coach with them, and the bond is formed with some of those assistants who that player is going to be working with a lot once he gets on campus, right? And so the head coach may come in for a home visit, this, that, or the other, but he's not having a whole lot of contact. Usually that large bond is forged with the position coach or recruiting coordinator, whoever it is that may be. Sometimes it's the same person. And so at the NFL level, Ray Rhodes, actually a coach on the staff, I remember I've heard you tell the story. They sent me out here to find a DB,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
And that was
We
you.
can tell the story exactly the way he said it. We can't do that. Even though I know that we're not censored on here, but we don't need to tell the exact. You've heard the exact
Yeah,
story.
but he goes out there and then he brings you back to, and you meet some of your prospective teammates,
Yeah.
and which is a little bit different. The whole scouting thing is interesting to me because I mean, look, there's some scouts that do it just for the love of scouting, right? But a lot of people who start at regional scouts, they have higher aspirations in terms of maybe joining a front office one day or maybe even a coaching staff or whatnot. And so just that whole dynamic, how that fits, and then how there can be this infighting in terms of, look, I saw this player, I scouted X amount of his games, yada, yada, yada. Coaches are busy during the season. They don't get to watch a whole lot of film. They're too busy coaching their guys, and at the last second they come in. They're like, well, "No, I like this guy." So it's just it's an interesting dynamic there. But I will be interested in, look, for all of the flack that John and Kyle have gotten on some of the picks, namely some first round draft picks. Uh, I mean, they've hit on a lot of guys, and like you said, this is a very, very talented roster. Absolutely, and it's the draft is a crapshoot, right? Like you're not going to hit on everybody. It just doesn't work that way. And look, I mean, if you subscribe to the Rams philosophy, then draft picks aren't that important any freaking way, right?
Oh, well, they are important because you actually even have to have them to be able to go out.
You got to have them to trade them, right?
You got to have them to trade them. And the other aspect of it, again, and I said this, someone tweeted me about this, and they were talking about the Rams bought the championship, and I said, well, I don't know. I said, but it was money well spent. But because the thing about it is that you have to do what the Niners have done. You have to draft well to get yourself in position to where you can buy that one or two players. You can't get a player away if you're screwing up the draft year after year. Ask the Raiders, ask Cincinnati for years. We can look at Tennessee for years. You can look at all of these teams, Cleveland for years. You can look at it. If you don't ever hit in the draft,
yeah. You can't assemble a whole roster on trades and free agency. I mean, there's some homegrown talent on that Rams roster. You got to look no further than its best player, right? 99.
There you go. You go. You have to have homegrown players and hit on those and move forward. And the Niners are doing that. So that puts you in position. That's why the fans go crazy. We just need a quarterback and all. Well, guess why? Because Kyle and John have done things correctly.
Cooper Kupp
a roster that is that close. That roster has been built and is strong enough to where you are that close to where possibly that guy can fall inside of your philosophy, inside of your system. Because people remember, the players, the system is not going to rise to the level of the talent. Bringing in more talent is not going to make your system rise. Players are going to rise to the level of the system. You have to have your philosophy set and right and know what it is you're trying to do for you to win it all. And they have that in place. So there we go.
Cooper Kupp, homegrown.
Yep.
What's more important than peace of mind?
Nothing.
Nothing. right? And that's what NordVPN is here for, to give you peace of mind while you are online. And with all the threats that you face today on the internet, it is more important than ever to be sure that you have the best VPN you can get. NordVPN is the world's best VPN service, offering the fastest connectivity, most servers, and next-gen encryption to make sure that everything you do online stays secure. Plus, you can use NordVPN on all of your computers and devices, no matter the operating system. With NordVPN's unlimited bandwidth, you never have to worry about a slow connection either, and plans start at under $4 per month. So, grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/believe or use the code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to get up to 70% off your NordVPN plan plus one additional month for free. It's also risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. That's nordvpn.com/believe. He is Super Bowl champion Eric Davis. I'm Rahshaun Haylock. This is the Believe in 49ers podcast. You look at the quarterback situation, ED. Aaron Rodgers was waxing poetic last week. Everybody thought it was a farewell song, and initially it wasn't, and he just played everybody like a fiddle. Tom Brady. Tom Brady, there's this thought about him, coming out of retirement and joining the Niners. Bruce Arians, at the combine, head coach of the Buccaneers, was asked about that, and saying, well, look, what if Brady waits till the absolutely last minute while you've gotten your new quarterback and you're ready to move on, this, that, or the other? He said, look, Tom's still the quarterback, regardless of whoever we bring in, whoever. If Tom wants to come back, we'll keep the light on. He's the guy if he decides to come back, if and whenever that happens. There's this notion that, Tom will try to come out of retirement and join his hometown team in the 49ers. Bruce Arians saying, nope, not going to happen. Bad business. Don't trade the best quarterback ever. It's not what you do. He doesn't want his name attached to that.
That's it. It's done.
It's a wrap, right?
It's done. Bruce not lying. Bruce may be a lot of things, but I don't think he's going to just get up there and flat out lie like that. That's it. We own your rights. If you want to play, you play for us. I truly believe that Bruce is that dude. That's how it would be. So everyone who's talking about all this Tom Brady back to the Niners and everything, and I said it before, I think the Niners are the only team that could entice him to possibly want to come out of retirement. I think it's done. Because especially, I truly believe that's the guy. If he wants to play football, he's going to have to play in Tampa. So he's got to decide if he wants to play in Tampa again, because he's not playing anywhere else. And the only other option is what? You have to sit out 2 years. You'd have to sit out 2 seasons before you could then do the whole free agency thing. And I don't think after 2 full seasons out of the game, he's going to want to play.
I mean, by that point, he'll be 47-ish, 46.
Yeah. I don't think he comes back.
He's 40. I mean, he just finished age 44 season, right? So 2 years from now, you're talking about 2024 season. That's age 47 season. I mean, he always said he wanted to play till 50, but I mean, that's, continuously you would imagine, right?
Well, and this is the thing, and then this is the thing right now. So if he does come back, it won't be for the 49ers, because if he comes, it won't be for Kyle. Let me say that. Because if Tom Brady comes back 2 years from now and the 49ers and the fans are clamoring, we want Tom Brady, that means that the Trey experiment was a failure. And if that's the case, I mean, you think about that. 3 seasons from now, because you'll have 2 full seasons. So 3 seasons from now, if you're saying we need Tom Brady,
a 47-year-old Tom Brady at that.
You see what I'm saying? Kyle and John won't be here. They won't be here anyway. They won't be here.
Well, look, and that's part of excluding just the whole Trey part, but I mean, like, not even getting to age 47 season. I'm talking about like here and now. If this was able to work for the age 45 season, the 2022 campaign, I just don't see it happening. Like I don't see it happening with Rodgers, for one. and two, I don't see it happening for Brady either of them joining the colors. For Rodgers, I just feel like he's kind of needy. He can be, a little scruff. Like I just don't know that will mesh well with Kyle. And then when you look with Brady, I think it's a similar tone, and not that he's as different personality from Aaron Rodgers, right? But I think when Brady comes in, you sort of relinquish a lot of things to Brady, right? Or Brady ends up getting a lot of the credit a lot more. And Bruce Arians is still trying to put out those fires. Like, look, it wasn't just Tom Brady. Like 2 years later, he's still talking about that, right? Like, it wasn't just Tom Brady. We've had, a bunch of great players come in, this, that, or the other, that helped us get to that Super Bowl, right? And so, and I mean, there's rumblings that's what happened the first go around, right? Like, Brady wasn't sure how much confidence he had in Kyle, and Kyle wasn't sure how much, power he wanted to, allow Brady to have, this, that, or the other. Because, I mean, you look at it, you say what you want. Brady went into Tampa, and he completely changed the whole, it was LeBron-esque, if you will.
Well,
right?
He did. He came in and they brought in a lot of players other than just Brady. They completely revamped that roster.
But that was as a result of Brady, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like, he ain't coming if you ain't bringing Rob and AB and the rest of those guys, right?
You got Fournette and all these things, and then, but also Tampa had some homegrown talent that was already there as well. Again, you have to do that to be a player away. Because people always think it's a player. It's going to be more than a player, but you always have to, like, even with the Rams, like, all they needed was Matt Stafford. Well, they also needed Odell. He came, you know what I'm saying? It's always more to just that. Hell, in some ways they also needed what's his name? The safety that came in. You had a lot of different pieces that came.
Yeah, they needed Weddle. They needed Von Miller.
So you needed Von Miller. So all of these little, they don't win that game. They don't win the Super Bowl without Von Miller. No. What he did defensively with his pass rush. So all of these type things, it's always more than that one player, but you got to build within to get there to where you can add those pieces. So Tampa did that same thing. But now back to the Niners in the quarterback position. I'll put it on wax right now. Trey is going to be the quarterback. Trey, moving forward, and I've gotten this tweet I've said it before, and I got receipts out there, and guys were like, why would you do that? Why would you not get a quarterback who's ready to win now, as opposed to a quarterback learning on the run and all these type things? Do you realize how young the core of this team is? Yes, we all want to win a championship. The core players on this team, how young are they?
I get that, but that's a fair point, though. Right? And we talk I brought this up last week as well, in a sense that, I mean, you're in win now mode, and yes, the core players on this team are fairly young, but at those positions, they develop a lot quicker than a quarterback.
But okay, yes, they develop a lot quicker, but they also are young. They also, so it's not like but
Debo's been to 2 NFC championships. He's been to a Super Bowl, right?
Guess what? And Debo hadn't even hit his prime as a player. Debo is still learning how to play wide receiver in the NFL. Debo is not a good wide receiver. Debo is a great weapon, but Debo is not a top wide receiver in this league. And if people lose their mind at it because of all the ways that they use him, they still don't have a wide receiver that you can say get open, and he can get open. They don't have that. So that's what I'm saying. These guys are still developing as players. So everyone is freaking out about they have to do it right now. They have to do it right now. Of course I want to do it right now. And there's nothing that says that Trey can't come in and be that player. But I don't think that you are you're not hamstringing yourself by letting Trey be the quarterback because he's on a rookie deal for 5 years. You have an opportunity to do exactly what we're talking about, to bring in the Von Millers and to bring in all these other pieces and all of these type things that you can do because you got a young Bosa, you got a young Debo, you have a young Ayuk, you got a young E-Man. We'll see what happened with Thomas. All these guys are young. You look across the board. You got a young, you look at your linebacking core. They are babies. You got guys hadn't hit their prime, and Warner is just hitting his.
Yeah, I get all that, Ed, but the clock is ticking, right? Like in terms of Trey, right now it's 4 years left, right? And in terms of Kittle, he's now on year 2 or year 3 of his contract. Warner's getting into year 2 of his, right? Most contracts are 3 years, right?
Yes, but stop, but because you can but again, like I said, any player, you know what I told you, salary cap is only when you don't want to keep a player. It's only an issue when you don't want to keep a player. So now you got those guys, you can extend things, you can do things, you can move money around because you got a quarterback on a rookie deal. That helps tremendously because that's gonna be 15, 17, 18% of your cap. Right now he's nothing. He's nothing because he's on that rookie deal. When his new deal changes everything. So you have an opportunity to do all of those things. That's dead. And the guy that you were talking about, you think about it, your option, because we know Bruce Arians already said, Tom Brady's gone. Your option is who? Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. So you go get Aaron Rodgers. How much is that going to cost you?
I'll pass on that.
See, there we go. So I knew you were going to say that. So
I'm sorry.
I knew that.
Like
so
I just don't the luggage, the bag. Like you can have it.
Okay, so if you're passing on that, why does it not make sense to say, okay, Trey, go do your job, and we're going to build these other things around him? There's this belief that Trey has to win these games and he has to carry the team. Everybody just saw, and everyone says that Jimmy Garoppolo was along for the ride. Okay, so if Trey can do more than be along for the ride, you should be able to maintain what you have going right now as he grows. These other players that I've already mentioned, they haven't even hit their prime yet. They're only going to get better. Your O-line can get better. Your running game can get better. Your pass rush can get better. Your secondary can get better as he gets better, and you're already a playoff team. I'm completely fine with Trey taking over at quarterback because the rest of the team is there to insulate him as he grows. Trey does not have to carry the team. He's not ready to carry the team. He doesn't need to carry the team right now.
Period. No, the facts. The facts. Because Jimmy didn't have to carry the team, and look where. No, that's facts. I give you that. I give you that.
And then, so that's what I'm saying. So I'm not freaking out like we got to get a quarterback. I actually think this could be the same situation that you had up north in Seattle. Russell Wilson came in, and I know I was there. I'm telling you, the first time Russell Wilson played against the 49ers, I was calling the game, and I remember looking over at Ted Robinson in the booth, and I said, Pete Carroll will shoot himself before he lets Russell throw this ball. I started watching it. Pete was doing everything possible that first time they played. Like, I'm not like, Russell, you're my quarterback, and I'm going to let you grow. You get a ball to beast mode and let the defense play. And as he grew, Russell has turned into a guy that, like, okay, if you need to throw it 60 times, throw it 60 times. The same thing happened with Tom Brady. The same thing happened with Ben Roethlisberger. We've seen that happen with so many.
He won a Super Bowl that way. Roethlisberger did.
We saw the
Brady
same
too. Yeah,
same thing happened. You see that happen with quarterbacks all across as they grow. It's like, we don't want you to do too much. And now let's let it open up as you learn the system. Some guys pick it up quicker. Some guys, it's not even the player, it's the coach and the confidence. Like, I'm ready to take the brakes off because I see I can't hold you back anymore. But man, take advantage of the rookie contract. That's why you drafted him.
Now I'm with you. Prisoner of the moment, recency bias, all that stuff is real. You look at the division, and granted, you alluded to it earlier, right? It was more than just Matthew Stafford. You know, it was a bunch of other guys. But the
Yeah.
illusion is that guy at that position got that team a
Uh,
Lombardi. And
uh-huh.
so, look, I mean, you're
Matt
gonna see.
Stafford, that guy, Matt Stafford, that they spent those picks on, threw the game up for grabs. Like I said, drop picks matter. He threw the game. That would have changed the game
I
with
was
9 minutes
hoping
left. That
you
would
would
have
put that on a
changed the
t-shirt.
game.
Put that on a t-shirt.
It would have changed the games, man.
But change the season.
It would have
We would
changed.
have been doing this pod from a parade right now. He
Yeah,
did.
you're right. Because the Niners would have won the Super Bowl. That changed everything. But what I'm saying, Matthew Stafford, all's forgiven, all's forgotten. But that guy who he's the reason. No, he wasn't. There are so many other. And if you sit down and you look at the other guys that they brought in, that's the thing. And the Niners, because you have a quarterback, a capable quarterback that you feel is an upgrade from what you had before, and what you had before got you to a Super Bowl, an NFC championship. He made that guy made you a playoff contender. Okay, when he was under center. So if this guy's an upgrade with the rest of the staff, that's why I told you, of course they're going to be in the playoffs. Now the question is, what else are you going to bring in? And I even saw what I think it was Grant Cohen. Somebody tagged me on something, and he was talking about trading. He was talking about a trade for Kittle, for Xavier, for Howard.
Oh, yeah, Xavier Howard. Yeah.
Xavier Howard. Yeah, he was talking about a straight up trade, and that's what I asked, and he hadn't responded yet. But I said, "Are you talking straight up?" Because I wouldn't be mad about that. I wouldn't be mad about that trade, but I don't know if I would want to do it straight up. Because, and then I started thinking about it, because I know, first of all, Howard, yes, that's a yes for me. If we can get Howard, yes, I'll take him. Yes. Now, with Kittle, this is the issue. The only thing about Kittle leaving is who's going to provide the juice offensively. Can I count on the young guys? Are they ready to be that energy? Because that's important. That emotional energy. Is that Debo now? Is that Ayuk?
I mean, you can argue we just saw it, right?
So that's what I'm saying. So if that's the case, and then the other aspect of it is our boy Trey. Is he going to be that dude bringing that energy to the huddle? So if that's the case, then yeah. So that's what I'm saying. They're the only person, I said it before, I'll say it again. There's only one untouchable on this team. There's one, and that is Bosa. That's the only dude that no. I will drive to Santa Clara from LA, and I will just guys, can I go I'm going upstairs. I got to talk to Kyle. Please don't do that. That's the only dude on the team. That's the only dude. And I told you that when he came in. I told you that after he got hurt, and you were like, what? Well, I don't know. And I'm like, dude, it's going to be the same dude when he's going to rehab, and he's going to be fine. That dude's special. He is special. Outside of that, there's nobody on the team that can't be traded. And Trent is another one of those dudes, but his age, I trade him for the right thing. Bosa ain't going nowhere. Nowhere.
You heard it. Continue to download, subscribe, rate, and review. We're located wherever you find your podcast. If there's a like button or a follow button on your particular podcast subscription service, go ahead and hit that like or follow button. Do you have an untouchable on this roster? Feel free to let us know. Hit us up on social media. I'm at Haylock on Twitter. He is at _Eric Davis _. And on Instagram, I'm at Watch Ray Ray. He is at Eric Davis _____. That's 4. So, for my partner, Super Bowl champion Eric Davis, I'm Rahshaun Haylock. This has been the Believe in 49ers podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. We will see y'all next week.
Peace.